What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. Can you guys believe it's episode 80 already? I know, right? I'm like, what? It was just like yesterday, but yeah, 80, yeah. So, I'm sure that by now you've all heard that the people of Egypt, with the help of their soldiers, ousted their president, Mohamed Morsi. Seriously, you have to give it up to Egyptians for the fact that if an elected official is not doing well, they kick him out. It doesn't matter even if it's the president, yes. And I'm hoping that African leaders that are not doing well, that they will learn from what happened in Egypt, yeah? So this man, Morsi, was only president for 1 year. They said that the economy got worse after he took over and that the Egyptian pound lost nearly 20% of its value. And industries were crippled by fuel and electricity shortages. They also accused Mr. Morsi of the fact that he has no regard for others who are not members of his political party, the Muslim Brotherhood. They also complained that he borrowed too much money, that he borrowed about $11 billion in loans from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from Turkey. So the protesters were asking, who's going to pay all this debt? Now, if only other African countries will learn from the Egyptians. Instead, many of us are still taking too much crapola from these so-called elected officials in Africa who are in office just for their own selfish interest. And some of them even claimed that they had no shoes before they became somebody. Although we later found out that they actually had shoes. I'm not mentioning any names, so I beg, just use your imagination. Sometimes I just sit down and I wonder exactly what has changed in the past 3 years since we got a new president. And what exactly has changed? Of all the oil producing countries in OPEC, Nigerians earn the lowest minimum wage per month, and we pay the highest price for fuel consumption. Our roads are actually getting worse, in so many parts of the country, and we don't have constant electricity. In fact, there are some areas in Nigeria that have not had electricity in years. Why can't we be like Qatar? And why can't we be like the United Arab Emirates? And have you guys been to Dubai? Oh my God, just the airport gone last song. You know that in those days, if a child is doing well in school in Nigeria, they give that child scholarship. Primary school and secondary school used to be free, and even students in tertiary institutions used to be served food. In fact, they used to make their beds for them before they come back from their classes. I'm not lying. You can ask somebody that is older than you. Today, we have to cook right in our small room, that are already overcrowded, unless you're going to a private school, which are very, very expensive. What changed all these things? Back then, graduates get employed immediately after school. Today, my people, unemployment rate can't even be statistically measured. And in order to survive, many of our young people today, they engage in petty criminal activities that land them in prison. By the way, they said our prisons are so congested now that the best thing to do is to start executing prisoners. Just imagine, and Mr. President approves of this. I was like, what? How can you approve of such a thing? Last week in Edo State, 4 prisoners were executed in 1 day. And in fact, one of those guys executed last week was in prison for stealing, not for murder, and yet he was executed. I'm not in support of what he did, but in the same country, some people who stole more than 20 billion naira since 2007, they are still free. Today we arraign them, tomorrow we grant them bail. Is that real justice? So when would Nigerians stand up and demand an end to unproductive government and impunity? And when are we going to rise up against unfair sentencing and selective justice? If not for ourselves, at least for the sake of our children. Instead of killing these young inmates because they are nobody, why can't we have some rehabilitation programs for them? Like they do in Norway, where they give their inmates education, training, and skill building programs, which will make them relevant after serving their time. Remember Bestoy Prison Island in Norway? The inmates live in houses where every man has his own bedroom. They all share the kitchen and other facilities. I'm talking about killers, rapists, robbers, all kinds of criminals you can think of, all of them under the same roof. And they treat them like real human beings. They provide them with 1 meal per day in the dining hall, but based on the works that they do in prison, each of them earn an equivalent of £6 per day. So in a month, they all earn about 160 pounds, twice as much as the regular civil servant will earn in Nigeria. They also give these prisoners allowance of 70 pounds each, every month. So they use this money to go and shop for food stuff. These prisoners are free to go and shop in the market, yes, and they still come back to the prison. I mean, why would they run away when they are being treated well? So each house prepares its own breakfast and its own dinner. They just eat lunch together. Imagine treating inmates like this. How do you think they care for their own citizens? Which is why Norway has one of the lowest crime rates in Europe and one of the lowest crime crime rates in the whole world. I mean, just take a look at where they house their prisoners. I know what some of you are thinking. It's better to live in Norway prison. Don't even think about it. And I'm just keeping it real. And speaking of Egypt, now that President Morsi is no longer president, I'm hoping that Egypt and Ethiopia can work out a reasonable agreement over River Nile, yes, the world's longest river, and stop all this catfight. First of all, this river flows through many countries in Africa, so I don't know why Egypt is having monopoly over this river, although I do understand that the Nile is the main source of water for Egyptians. Few weeks ago, I told you that Ethiopia is building a dam which needs to be filled with water from the Nile, and an independent panel of experts has concluded that this dam will not significantly affect the flow of water to Sudan and Egypt. Now, despite the fact that 85% of the Nile water originates from Ethiopia, about 60% of the water actually flows through other countries into Egypt. Meanwhile, Ethiopia is left to grapple with the challenge of irrigating its parched land in order to sustain its agriculture. A few years ago, remember that Ethiopia suffered one of the most devastating famine ever witnessed in Africa, which was caused by severe drought. Meanwhile, Egypt has already built its own dam over this same Nile River. You know, I'm talking about Aswan Dam. So why don't they want Ethiopia to also complete its dam? Is that fair? By the way, did I tell you guys that a few weeks ago, the Egyptian politicians, during a private meeting with their now former president, you know, which they were not aware was being broadcasted on live TV. Well, these men were all suggesting ways to sabotage and stop Ethiopia from completing its dam.
آخر الأوراق عن طريق الاستعانة بالمخابرات لهدم أي سد يقام إذا كان فيه هذه الخطورة المحققة على مصر، لأن بعض الخبراء قالوا إن بناء هذا السد يعتبر حالة إعلان حرب على مصر.
طبعا حضرتك يمكن أنا من هواة المعارك وأحب المعارك جدا مع الأعداء طبعا، مع أمريكا وإسرائيل، لكن هذه المعركة لابد أن تخاض بمنتهى الحكمة والهدوء والسكون، ولو الاجتماع ده سري ونقسم على ألا نسرب للإعلام أي كلمة فيه بقى.
You see, some men are so wicked. Now, Ethiopia has started to divert the Nile water, and when the dam is finished, it has the capacity to produce 6,000 megawatts of electricity. 6,000, which Ethiopia can sell to Sudan, to South Sudan, to Kenya, to Djibouti, to Somalia, to Uganda, and even to this Egypt, Africa's largest dam so far. You know that Ethiopia's decision to construct the dam challenges a colonial era agreement that gave Egypt and Sudan right to the Nile water. I mean, just take a look at the Columbia River Treaty between the US and Canada. It's a model of international cooperation since 1964, my people, since 1964, which has brought significant flood control and power generation benefits to both countries. Now, 4 dams were constructed under this treaty, 3 in Canada and 1 in the US. Both of these countries are still enjoying the benefit. And by the way, when will the giant of Africa build its own mega dam, the one that will be able to power the whole of Nigeria and neighboring countries as well? I forgot that we're already powering Benin and Togo. Yes, so even though we don't have constant electricity, now you could hear everywhere. You know, now my own better pass your own generator. What a shame. Nigeria, what a shame. By the way, do you know that Cameroon is now selling electricity to Adamawa State in Nigeria? Yes, so Cameroon is selling electricity for us in Adamawa State. Cameroon, wait. Is this true? Ghana is also supplying us electricity? Okay, Niger. I'm just keeping it real. Speaking of building dams, another flood season is about to start in Nigeria, and we're yet to recover from the effects of that of last year. You know that the Nigerian Meteorological Agency said that this year's rainfall, which has already begun, will be just as bad as that of last year. Yeah, so my people, they said it will be as bad. You better start learning how to swim and how to scuba dive. You know, start learning how to scuba dive. I can give you some private lessons, but I don't charge much. Do you remember how much the flood cost us last year? An estimated $17 billion. $17 billion in property, infrastructure, and economic damage. Yet, we are not thinking about building the necessary dam. Oh, I forgot that some people actually embezzled the money in 1983. Yeah, so the money that was meant for us to build a dam during the time of Shagari, don't quote me, no be me talk, I'm waiting be my own. And by the way, is NEMA prepared for flood this year? Last year, their main equipment was a stick. These guys were going about with long stick so that they can use it to measure the depth of water. Yeah, so that was all they were doing. I said, Kai, I think it's going to be different this year. NEMA, do we have emergency shelters ready? Do we even know the places prone to flood yet? And shouldn't we know by now? What about evacuation drills? Have we gone over that with the people? Do they know what to do if there should be flood? Are there enough ambulances, helicopters, and rafts for rescuing people? My people, all these are things that should have been in place by now so that we are not surprised like last year. But you know, the truth is, we don't learn from history. No, we don't. We don't learn from history. We just memorize the historical dates and names. Yes. And speaking of using dams to generate electricity, do you know that President Obama has pledged $7 billion to power 7 African countries, including Nigeria? I mean, isn't that like great news? $7 billion. But you know, I was like excited about that news until I remember that last year alone, about $6.8 billion was misappropriated in the oil subsidy fund alone in Nigeria. $6.8 billion. So should I be excited that things will suddenly change when the US gives us this money? Nah. If it falls in the hands of the same people that are in government right now, forget it. Unless we have new and honest people in power. But what do I know, you know? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Zimbabwe. Yes, I'm back to Zimbabwe. I'm watching you, Mr. Mugabe, watching you on Plasma TV. So the women of Zimbabwe are now making it their responsibility to get their men to register to vote. You know how they are doing it? Yeah, by depriving them of their I'm trying to say that they are, you know, on sex strike. Oops, did I just say that? Oh my God. They are saying no. Yeah, to jiggy. Yes, until those men register to vote in the coming election. Apparently, women in Zimbabwe vote more than men, which is why a female government official, Priscilla Misihairabwi Mushonga, the Minister of Regional Integration and International Cooperation, is calling on women in Zimbabwe to use their women power. Now, to be serious though, Zimbabwean men need to step up their game and do whatever it would take for Mugabe not to win this coming election. Let's have a free and fair election. Already, we know that he's registering dead people. You know, people that died hundreds of years ago. And we also know that he's using thugs to discourage opposition from registering. And that reminds me of 1927 in Liberia, when Charles King of Liberia won the presidential election with 234,000 votes. Now, the only problem was that there were only 15,000 registered voters in the whole of Liberia. So everybody started asking, where did the 219,000 extra votes, where did they come from? Which is why they call it the most fraudulent election in history. So in order for that not to happen in Zimbabwe, please, my Zimbabwean men, don't be upset when you touch your madam at night and she's like, leave me. I said, leave me. Move to that side. We're not doing this tonight. You know how women can be now. Don't be upset. Just try to sleep through that night. In the morning though, be sure that you go and register. And if you do it very early in the morning before she leaves, you may still get some, you know, some. Yes, that is how you do it. And my Zimbabwean sisters, you not do well. Kai, you guys now, wow. You know how hard it is for men not to do it? It's not easy. I beg, don't drag this thing too long. And be nice when you keep them from, you know, and be nice. Gently try to talk them to go and register. Don't nag them, you know, so that you won't start a fight. So my brothers, if you want it real bad, go and register. Go and register now. More power to women. Yes, I'm just keeping it real. So congrats to Brazil for beating Spain 3-0 and winning the Confederation Cup. Wow, I mean, I thought Spain is undefeatable, you know. And by the way, Nigeria, yes, Nigeria is, yes, you know, they really tried. They really tried. Because, you know, we beat Tahiti. Yes, although everybody beat Tahiti. But when we played with Spain, you know, we really tried. But you know how it is now. Yes, but we're out. We're out. But we tried. We got whooped by Spain and Uruguay. Yes, which is why I was very interested in watching Brazil beat Spain, you know. So I really think that we need to improve in Nigeria, and we need to start practicing for the World Cup right now instead of waiting till last minute like we always do. And by the way, there are so many talented people in Nigeria that should be recruited. I don't know why, but they're not recruited because they don't know anybody in high places, so their talents are just wasting away. I still remember Brother Sikiru, not far from my house when I was growing up. That brother can play, you know. He plays with his head, his chest, his hands, his everything. Brother Sikiru, it was really good, but nobody knew about him. And Brother G, you won't know who I'm talking about because we didn't grow up together. If only Nigeria discovered them, today we will be winning World Cup. And by the way, I saw this video of this lady in Tanzania who's doing wonders with football. Just take a look. Did you see that? Oh my god, if she were to be in the US or in other country, you know, by now that lady would be a millionaire, you know. Talk about undiscovered talent. I mean, I bet you many soccer players earning millions of dollars today, they probably cannot do as much as, you know, she's doing. Don't quote me, oh, you know, this is just a personal observation. Meanwhile, since I saw that video, I've been inspired and I've been practicing so I can surprise you guys today, you know. Some of you think I know Savi, you think I can play football. I beg, pass me the ball. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's because I'm wearing a dress. Yes, it's just because I'm wearing a dress. Go and ask of me anywhere. They will tell you. You know, if I'm not wearing a dress, I can do it. So you guys know that black is beautiful. I mean, I can go all day talking about that. But once again, black is beautiful. And one black lady in Israel is making us all so proud right now. I'm talking about the first black Miss Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, meet 21-year-old Yitish Eno. She moved to Israel at the age of 12 to be with her grandparents who are Ethiopian Jews. Now, Yitish, who is also known as Titi, that's her nickname. That is also a Yoruba name in Nigeria, and I'm sure they meant to say Titi Lokbe. You're always welcome in Nigeria, you know? Yes, you're welcome. So I will be calling her Titi. This lady has overcome many obstacles. She lost her father at a very tender age, and her mom passed away due to some illness when she was like 12. So she's an orphan. And right about that time, she moved with her brother to go and be with their grandparents in Israel, where she had to learn the Jewish language, the culture, their education system. Everything was brand new to her, but she was willing to give it whatever it would take for her to succeed in Israel. After school, she served in the military. You know, you have to serve in the military in Israel. She served for 3 years, and then she started working in a clothing store. So she has always wanted to be a model, but she didn't think that she could win a beauty pageant. So it was her friend who actually entered her name in the Miss Israel pageant. I mean, aren't you glad for friends like that who would love to see you succeed? But my people, she did not only compete, she actually won. And let me tell you, her life has now remained the same. She even got to meet American President Barack Obama. Yeah, so they got, whoa, she's taller than Obama. Look at that. What a beautiful face, eh? Black is beautiful, eh? Now, as the first ever black Miss Israel, Titi is seen by some as a beacon of hope that racial prejudice is beginning to fade away in Israel. Yes, because you know there are some years. Now she's hoping to carve out a successful career in fashion and also serve as a role model for her community. And we are all so very, very proud of her. You know, my people, If you live in another country, please don't be shy to take advantage of all the country offers. Go for it, apply for that grant, apply for that scholarship, get in that competition. Yes, you that you're watching me, get in it. You never know, you just might win. Yes, you can, my people. Now, I think I have enough confidence to also compete for Miss New York. Yes, I think I want to compete for Miss New York. What is it? You don't think I can win? And some of you're very discouraging. And I just have to show them my soccer skills, but I won't wear a dress so that I can play well. And then I have to show them my singing skills. You are my Africa queen. Ooh la 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 la. I need water. Before I leave today, I'd like to read some of your emails. And our first email today is from Steve Osasui in Switzerland. And he says, Dear Adeola, it's high time that the Nigerian government made it known to the British government that Nigerians born before October 1960 are also citizens of the UK by right, and therefore they should have right of entry and access to all citizenship benefits, because they paid taxes that was remitted to the UK. Wow, this is so true. So yeah, they should be allowed to enjoy the benefits of being citizens in the UK. Or maybe we can also do like Kenya did, with the Mau Mau freedom fighters, and they sued the UK and now they're getting money for all these people, Maybe we should also think about something like that. Our next email is from Jide Creepy. He says, your show educates me on matters concerning Nigeria and the world. Please do keep up the great job that you're doing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the compliments. I get so many compliments that I can't be reading all of them on the show, but to all of you that send me compliments and all of you that let me know how you feel about the show, thank you so much. Our next email is from Pauline Onyear. This person says, Adeola, thank you for making us proud. Your coverage on Britain's new visa requirements was fantastic. Thank you so much, but please keep sharing it on your social media platforms. Lastly, I've been getting emails from a lot of people that are saying that they would like to advertise on this show. Now, if you would like to advertise on Keeping It Real, please send an email to sradverts@saharareporters.com. That's it. sradverts@saharareporters.com. That's where you should send your emails to about advertising on this show. That's all the time I have for emails today. Thank you very much. Alright, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out.
Welcome to Fosville Luxury Hotel. At Fosville Luxury Hotel, we offer excellent service. Our rooms have all the necessary facilities to make your stay comfortable and memorable. You will also have access to internet service, breakfast, 24-hour power supply, full air condition, free international calls, free tire pumping service, and free car battery charge. So what are you waiting for? Quickly visit Fosville Luxury Hotel. We are located at number 1 Adeola Mishile off Raji Rasaki Road, First Estate, Amuwo, Odofife, Start, Lagos. For more information or reservation, please call us on 08075787135 or 08099900601. You can also take advantage of our online ongoing promo at www.fosvillehotel.com to make your reservation and payment for your favorite room, which attracts a discount rate. Please note, rooms are reserved based on first come, first serve. Fosville Luxury Hotel. Experience the home of comfort. They come.